Happy April Fool's Day. We are back here on the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey, producer Chris behind the scenes on today's show. No fooling today. We'll keep things actually based and not made up stories and fictional things and trying to get people to fall for stuff that's very, very old. We will talk about Ezekiel Elliott, though. That one does seem to have some real legs to it. Do you want to bring back Zeke? Why for yes and for no? 56% voting in favor of yes, by the way, which I am surprised by, which means I'm going to make about half the people mad in the first 20 minutes of today's show. So we'll see how that plays out. I'll save my thoughts because I shouldn't make people mad in the first 20 seconds of the show. Ecuadorman AOG, a super chat. Nobody wants Zeke except Cowboys fans. SMH. I'm not sure he's wrong at all, frankly. You're a Patriots fan. Do you want Zeke back, Chris? Chris just said no. Shook his head a bunch. There's been no market for him, right? Like, what team's like, oh, Zeke's in the market here? No, nobody. Dallas. Makes me wonder if it's the Cowboys even helping Zeke, saying, yes, we are interested in it. That just doesn't. I'll save my thoughts. We have the stats to go along with it later on in today's show. Down to 52%, by the way. Audience will continue to rise, so vote in the comments section and make sure you're voting in the pin poll as well. Now, today is the final day for the Drew Pearson mini helmet raffle. Ends today. We will run the race at the end of today's show. I'll shoot the big, long list of names over to producer Chris / let me just send you the doc now because it's going to be easier for you to do it that way. That way there's less delay in time there. $10 to enter, 2-for-1 entries. So $10 gets you 2 entries in the final chance to do it. I think it will have to be a straight-up duck race and nothing themed because pretty sure we're over 100 by now. $50 will go in the Beer Bong Hall of Fame, and I will chug a beer out of it. And again, the specialty is the 2-for-1 menu. It's the extra goodies for those of you who choose to donate the bigger amounts. I want you guys to grade the Cowboys off-season so far. A, B, C, D, or F. I am very curious how all these votes come in. A, B, C, D, or F. F, 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 double D, F, D, F, 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 F. F, D, F, F, C, D, C, F, C, F, 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 D, double A. F, C, F, C, F, F plus, F, C, F, Z, F minus, F plus, D, C, D, F. I give him an A plus for doing nothing. D plus, F, F minus, C, C, a G. Astastic from John. That's a good one. I like that one. C, F, F plus, F minus, Z, X, D. Yeah. Everybody hates it. Can't say I'm. Doesn't surprise me at all. Doesn't surprise me at all. Mark says A plus if they want to tank. I don't think they've tanked well. You still got talent. You still got old guys. Like, you signed old players. Why are you doing that if you're tanking? Like, why is Eric Hendricks here if you're tanking? Why'd you bring back Jordan Lewis? Just play the youth, you know? Mark says Zeke is done. Why not allocate that money you want to pay Dak and add that to the Hankins salary? Keep a proven and best run stopper. Too late now. F grade. By the way, I know Michael Gilkin reported. That the Cowboys had interest. I have it on very good authority. They didn't even try. So it's not. I guess it wasn't that they couldn't afford it. It's that they didn't want to. And we'll see if that's better or not. Who knows? Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big sporting event or non-sporting event as well. We'll put the link in the comments section, and it's already in the description of today's show. But if you're upset and worried about the Cowboys off-season, you don't have to be worried and upset about getting tickets to your next event, whether that is games, A's-Rangers game, concerts, Justin Timberlake, getting much cheaper tickets for the Rangers than what it would have been if you'd gone on opening day. Use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. That's CHATSPORTS, ChatSports, at GameTime.co for $20 off. I like the views from your seat. Also, do the zone deal if you can. You got an example right here from an upcoming Rangers game. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and doesn't seat 12, seat 15, whatever. Who cares? You're in the same section. Pretty good section, by the way. You'll get big savings in the process. So again, go to GameTime.co and use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. That link will be in the comments section and in the description of today's show. That's promo code CHATSPORTS. Mark says he meant Zeke, not Dak. Actually, that's how I read it. So I don't know if I read it the way I was supposed to on accident. But yeah, no, you're good, Mark. You're good. No worries there. We will talk draft trades on today's show. Some ideas, different, like give you the feel for this is about what it would cost to do various different moves there. Will the Cowboys make a draft trade? 1 for yes, 0 for no. And get your answers and predictions in. That it could even be just a simple trade down, which they've done before. Trade a future pick for a current pick. I wouldn't be shocked if they did that one. Get your votes in as Big River breaks a $5 super chat. Would Jerry be interested in Spencer Rattler in the 4th round? Will he even make it that far? He might make it that far. The issue is you have no 4th round pick because you spent it on Trey Lance. So if you didn't have Trey Lance, I think we'd be talking a lot about the Cowboys drafting a 3rd or 4th or 5th round quarterback this year. You kind of use the draft pick you would do that for on Trey Lance. So I don't think they're going to have, maybe in like the 7th round when they've got 2 late 7s, maybe then they have interest just to compete with even Cooper Rush for quarterback 3. Or I think they wouldn't be sure if they added a UDFA as well to give them that 4th quarterback option. But I don't see them spending one of their premium assets because they're down that 4th round pick because of Trey Lance. Chris B, Cowboys trying to win. April Fools. Psych. I said no April Fools jokes. But we can have some fun instead. This is Chris B already got one in here. Put your best April Fool's Day jokes in the comments. They can be specific to the Dallas Cowboys. You know, like, for example, the Cowboys are all in. April Fools. They're clearly not. I'm sure we can get some funny ones from this perspective. Glenn says he accidentally said yes on the pin poll, and it should be 50. It should be 50-50 right now. It's 51% say yes, 49% say no. We see Cowboys will win the Super Bowl. Klaus is trying to speak in German. Deion Sanders is back. Jerry Jones is a good GM. The Cowboys are going to sign Aaron Donald. It's a good one. It's kind of like wrong answers only for what the Cowboys are going to do this offseason. Jerry sold the team. Oh, that's a good one. Remember when Craig Carton, I think that's the criminal, was about how, Jerry's going to sell the team. Laughable. Cowboys have signed a GM. Chris B says Cowboys signing Zeke to a 3-year, $30 million deal. Romo's going to come back. That's a good one. Zeke's going to have 1,600 yards. Clementine says Dallas has hired Troy Aikman for a similar role. I am the head coach. And the Cowboys signed me, like in back-to-back comments. That one's pretty funny there. Vanquish time. I don't think re-signing Zeke is going to fix the team. I mean, it's definitely not going to. It's about a backup running back. That alone, even if it's a good backup running back, isn't going to fix your team. My other issue is you haven't done anything except sign a veteran linebacker. Is 50% of your offseason upgrades going to be bringing back Zeke? Like, if you'd sign 10 players, okay, you know what, you can miss on one of them completely, or just like sign Zeke and then it doesn't actually matter very much. When that's half of your moves, I think that's really bad optics. From Mark, says Jerry Jones is waiting for players to be cut. Doesn't he not lose comp picks that way? He's an idiot. If Coop is still the number 2 quarterback, the number 4 for Lance was a waste. Why was Lance picked so high to begin with? Aloha. It's a great question. So most of the guys have already been cut. That's why they signed Kendricks. He doesn't impact the comp pick formula. The Cowboys are maxed already, so they're not going to get more back. But you're right. They don't lose comp. Players that get cut and then sign with the team don't impact the comp pick formula. I agree. If Cooper Rush is your backup quarterback going into week 1, you probably whiffed on Lance pretty badly, and then it was a complete waste. I hope that's not the case. Lance picked so high because he was athletic, strong arm, flashed all this upside, very intelligent player, has been unable to get on the football field. Went for higher than Fields and other guys did because they got the extra year of development out of them. Those players got 1 year with their new team. CT, I don't know much about others than the name, but with 2 buts. What do you think about Brendan Rice? What spot would he be drafted at? Let me get my draft notes up here because I finished up his profile, barring some late changes and everything. Brendan Rice, got him in the 3rd, 4th round. Where do I have him at? Late 3rd round there. Is Jerry Rice's son. He kind of reminds me of a little bit like a Jalen Tolbert, Michael Gallup. He's not an elite athlete. He's not bad though. Can win contested catches and on vertical routes. Does offer a bit more special teams ability as well. Seemingly fixed his drop issues, but he's not really going to get open like on underneath stuff. He's kind of going to be like a vertical asset. Chris, what's this name? Yeah, Seymour. Imagine if RB2 in 2023 at 800 yards and 12 touchdowns. I think this is talking about Zeke putting up the numbers he put up. That's how I interpret it. Is how you interpret it too? Because that is what he did in 2022. So my issue is there. They gave him 230 carries. That doesn't mean anything to me. Like, okay, imagine if your backup averaged 3.8 yards per carry. So worse than what you got this past year from Dowdle? That's what I don't get, Chris.
I'm pretty sure this guy, Seymour Wiener, was a World War... I'm being dead serious right now. He was a World War II veteran.
He's clear as picking a name that's dirty.
No. I'm being dead serious. There was a guy this weekend. He was either at the Mets game or the Yankees game. He was a World War II veteran, and he was honored on the field, and his name was Seymour Wiener. I'm dead serious.
Press X to doubt in the comment section. Refuse to believe it. Big River Breaks needed a Herschel Walker 2.0 trade. Here's the issue. There is a reason why that trade has never happened since. You know? It hasn't happened. Sometimes you'll see a player go for 2 firsts. Not all that and more like the Herschel Walker trade. So yes, it'd be great. I don't see that type of trade ever happening again. From We Don't Wipe These 304s, all in my ass, you, Craig Carton, and Dan Cilio are my heroes. You picked 3 mediocre heroes, my friend, including myself. All right. If you guys are excited for the NFL draft, when the Cowboys actually have to do things, they have to by rule, then like today's video for me. Right now, we did pass 69 likes. Always a very good sign. So we'll get to Mark's Super Chat here momentarily, but like that video if you are excited for today's show. This is, by the way, 4 entries now for Mark. This team is all over the place. We get coaches that specialize in ground and pound, but if partners are back. Set up the guy, but don't respond to free money. Guys go, which is fine, but no replacements. I agree. Like you were really committed to running this, like I call it tight zone. It wasn't actually tight zone. It was inside zone with like no gap, with no duo, and not many outside zone stuff. Your O-line ran duo pretty well last year, and your backs were pretty good skill-wise doing outside zone. So the solution was to do 0 of those things. It was very strange to me. You're right. You say Dak's the guy. You don't re-sign him to free up money, which is what you did the last time too. There seems to be this weird disconnect of like what the coaching staff wants, what the front office wants, and I think there's a lack of organizational cohesion. And I think that's a bad thing. I truly do. And look, I wasn't going to pay Biotis that money. I wasn't going to pay Armstrong that big money. I wasn't going to pay Pollard that money. To not sign anybody? How are you going to say you're trying to win games right now and not add anybody of note outside of a veteran linebacker, which was a good move in and of itself? You do 7 of those, we're all excited. Did 1. I hate it. We will get into the latest Cowboys news and rumors on today's show. A bunch of different trade rumors, theories, ideas as well, and a Cowboys mailbag. So get your questions in right now via #Cowboys so Chris can find your questions, or via Super Chat. Skip that line altogether. We'll also run through a bunch of different draft trade ideas for the Cowboys. All coming up right now here on the Cowboys Report. If you have not already, please follow the Cowboys Report on Instagram. We will continue to post some more short-form videos on that platform. If you're on Instagram, just give us the follow at Cowboys Report IG. Let's discuss again the latest on Ezekiel Elliott. ESPN reporting there's a mutual interest between Zeke and the Cowboys in a reunion. Here was what Jeremy Fowler wrote on ESPN. The Dallas Cowboys and free agent running back Ezekiel Elliott have mutual interest in a reunion, sources tell ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. While a deal between Elliott and his former club has not been reached, both sides are open to it, sources added. So this is remarkably similar to the Michael Gelkin report, which said the Cowboys wouldn't confirm or deny, but keep an eye on Zeke and also Dalvin Cook, which, by the way, I'll get into my Zeke thoughts. I would much rather have Zeke than Dalvin Cook. So that's two different reporting outlets, two of the major ones, ESPN, Dallas Morning News, who both say there is some interest there. In theory, that would also come with adding a back via the draft. The Cowboys still need running back help. They re-signed Rico Dowdle to a contract that does not guarantee him a contract or a roster spot. Is no guarantee for it. Deuce Vaughn is, along with Malik Davis, kind of fullback, short yardage hybrid back, Hunter Lipke, and Snoop Connor are also under contract on the Dallas Cowboys roster. They need impact help there. Rico Dowdle has been unable to stay healthy. Vaughn, Davis, Lipke, Connor are pretty much wildly unproven and don't inspire confidence. Elliott did play in every game last season, but the things I've said before remain true. We're talking about an aging player with a significant workload whose numbers continue to trend in the wrong direction. Not just the carries, not just the yardage, not just the touchdowns, which are, fluky and inconsistent to a certain extent, although they did kind of plummet this past year for the Patriots. The run blocking or the pass blocking is actually still pretty good, but it's not what it was at its absolute prime. The average continues to go in the wrong direction. This is an older player who's not what he was in his prime. By the way, his yards per game dropped every season of his career, by the way. I've got more thoughts on this, plus some alleged reasoning behind the Dallas Cowboys, or interest there. Do you want to bring back Ezekiel Elliott? Y for yes, N for no. It is today's pinned comment, so as long as you're not too mean to each other, go vote at the pinned comment right now. Y or N, especially if the ad comes on YouTube. Here's what ESPN wrote on the arguments here. Dallas likes the way Elliott finished the 2023 season in New England, where he played in all 17 regular season games, and saw a significant increase in workload in the final 5 weeks of the year after top rusher Ramondre Stevenson was sidelined with a high ankle sprain. Okay, so the argument is, once he took over as the lead back, he played well, right? No, he didn't. Here are Zeke's numbers in the last 5 games. 72 carries, 213 yards, 2.96 yards per carry. Did do some nice short yardage check down stuff in a terrible offense. Had 3 touchdowns. What are we doing here? On what planet is under 3 yards per carry? I don't care how not good your offensive line was. He didn't do well individually, team-wise. We're really going to sit there and say, you know what, he played well down the stretch. He didn't. He was under 3 yards a carry. That's bottom barrel in the entire NFL. He wasn't good. Look, the Patriots were bad. The quarterback play was bad. The O-line was mediocre. We can try to take out that sample size stuff and adjust it for, relative to normal offensive line play. If we take out the other supporting cast stuff, how was it? Still wasn't very good. He doesn't offer explosiveness. He doesn't offer efficiency anymore. And he doesn't actually offer that great of short yardage stuff and red zone stuff. Here are the numbers. The Cowboys' offense was not good enough in red zone. It was not good enough in short yardage. Elliott was terrible. He had 2.1 yards per carry inside the red zone. He was outplayed by Rico Dowdle, who I think the Cowboys should have given more work to there. Short yardage, also wasn't any better. Like, I thought the thing that Zeke had done best in his final year in Dallas, I even argue there was no better back in the NFL about turning those negative 1 yard runs, those 0 yard runs, into 1 or 2 or 3 yards. And even that kind of dried up last season. I really don't see how the Cowboys view this as, you know what, Zeke actually played great down the stretch last year. He just didn't. And he can still do some pass blocking stuff for you, but the complete lack of explosiveness paired with a decline in efficiency, what am I getting out of Zeke? There will still be a couple touches per game. Like, oh, there was a flash of the old Zeke. 2 out of 8 carries a game, it's just not moving the needle for me. That's being generous, frankly. I don't get it. I don't know why this team would want to bring him back other than Jerry trying to sell jerseys. With that said, I would still rather have Zeke than Dalvin Cook. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets to your next big sporting event. You shouldn't have to worry, the way I worry about this entire franchise, when it comes to buying tickets. And that's for baseball, concerts, NBA games. Those Mavs games are going to be getting pretty pricey here, which is a good thing for Dallas, by the way. Go to GameTime.co, create your account, and use promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. That's promo code CHATSPORTS. Promo code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Terms do apply, but the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. That's a fantastic deal, folks. So check them out. Links in the comment section and the description of today's show. It's GameTime.co. Use promo code CHATSPORTS. Wrap up today's show. I think that the Cowboys' plan, emphasis on the air quotes there, is they're going to bank on their young guys, we like our guys, take big steps forward. Reminder, this is what Mike McCarthy, who did the good soldier routine in an Adam Schefter ESPN interview. I'm a big believer, Big Mike said, in the second to third year jump. You know, we have some young players. We got some guys coming back of IR that are young players that we're excited about. So we are definitely improving. So I want to run through the second and third year, especially, players. How are these players going to show up? Now, obviously, Tyler Smith, already good to go. You are set. Sam Williams. This is a big one for me. You've let Dorrance Armstrong walk. You've let Dante Fowler walk. I need Sam Williams to take a big step forward. I think you need edge help in general, but you did spend a second-round pick on Williams. Can he have the year 3 breakout? Didn't really happen in 2023. The sack numbers were solid. Or went a little bit up, I should say. The pressure rate actually went down the wrong direction. The penalties remain a big issue here. I am anxious about that. I need to see more from Sam Williams, or else things are not going to be good from that perspective. He has to have that year 3 break. Mike Zimmer will make or break Sam Williams. I'm convinced of that. Jalen Tolbert, the 3rd-round pick of, by the way, what is a good draft class, as we'll get into here in a little bit. But you need more from your 2nd and 3rd-round picks. Tolbert is primed to be wide receiver 3. I would like, much like Edge, I'd like to add another impact piece. I don't have the assets that necessarily afford that luxury. Tolbert played a pretty similar level to Michael Gallup, and even the snap counts were fairly similar in the back 2/3-ish of the regular season. But I need more than that out of my 3rd-round pick. I like him to double those numbers at minimum. So of those two guys, who is more likely to break out? JT for Jalen Tolbert, SW for Sam Williams. Get those answers in for me in the comments section. The nice part about this draft class is you already had the breakout from Jake Ferguson. Check off that box pretty significantly. What I like that the Cowboys did in this class in particular, they spent the top 100 pick and the non-top 100 pick on the offensive line. They nailed the first one in Tyler Smith. So far, not very good results out of Matt Waletzko. Injuries have been a significant issue for him. He had shoulder issues coming into the NFL, has had 2 shoulder surgeries already. You question whether he's ever going to be a reliable piece from the Cowboys, but big off-season and season coming up here. They nailed the Deron Bland pick, by the way. Home run selection that has set the Cowboys up for success. You've got 3 Pro Bowls, even fringe all-pro players out of that class. That's a really good draft class. Damone Clark started for Dallas. I need more out of him. I need a step forward and not just, kind of doesn't feel the game that well, instincts, questions. Right now, he's either LB2 or LB3. I need him to step up. And the presence of Eric Kendricks buys me time for one of those DeMarvion Overshones and Damone Clark situations. And then also, you lost 2 players in John Ridgeway and in Devin Harper as well. Ridgeway has been in up and down piece of range. He actually didn't play very well this past season. And Harper's a fringe roster piece for the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll get to this 23 draft class, and it's just usually in a moment. But do you want daily Cowboys content? If so, you've come to the right spot. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV. Round 1, Mozzie Smith. You need more from him. There's no other nose guards on this roster. So, the honeymoon period is over. It's got to go now. Luke Schoonmaker. I had a nightmare the Cowboys spent a 3rd-round pick on a tight end this year. I woke up in a cold sweat. Schoonmaker is capped out. He can't. He's never going to surpass Jake Ferguson while he's on the team. Can he at least be a good backup for me? Kind of a wasted pick no matter what I feel like because you were limiting your ceiling with the selection and his role. I need a lot more there. I was very excited about DeMarvion Overshown. The reviews were glowing. The preseason play was great. Then he tore his ACL. He'll have a full year to get healthy, full calendar year. But that's still anxiety-inducing. Viliami Feoko was a redshirt season player. Can he step up at defensive end? It's a 4th-round pick. You need him to do more this year. But you also didn't see him at all last season. Basically, same is true of Austin Richards. Again, they did the day 3 offensive line selection. If one of Richards or Waletzko can step up, great. I feel better about that. They traded up for Eric Scott. Gave away a 5th-round pick this year's class to go get Eric Scott in the 6th round. Did not play. So, is he going to play this year? Did I burn a pick again? As bad as this sounds, you know who was truly one of your more productive first-year players that weren't undrafted free agents? It was Deuce Vaughn. And he kind of didn't play it all after the first month of the season. Because, when you're an RB3 or 4 and help on special teams, there's not any room for you. Is he even going to make the team? I don't know. It depends on what you do in the draft, right? Like Jalen Brooks kind of carved out a back end of the wide receiver room role, but that was, again, mainly special team stuff. Can one of those guys step up? Great. But I need my first 4 picks on that list. They have to do more this year, or else it's going to be another disappointing Cowboys campaign. All right, one word and one word only. How would you describe your current thoughts on or about the or towards the Cowboys right now? One word to describe it. We'll get to some comments as some super chats come in. From YouTube, Jay, please God, don't bring back Zeke. He wasn't that good in New England. Dalvin Cook is terrible and wash. Really, both are wash. I'd rather draft Blake Corum. Spend your 2nd or 3rd round pick on a back, and if you want to add a scattier back like a Jerick McKinnon or an Edwards-Helaire, sure. At least give me something from an explosive standpoint or better efficiency. You missed on a lot of them. Some comments, by the way, see fart, lame, disappointing, lame, frightening, pathetic. It's a 50-50 split right now in the pin poll for Zeke. 50-50. Seymour Wiener says, you changed my mind unless he's RB3. New profile pic. That's him? Are we sure it wasn't like a plant?
No, I'm dead serious. It went viral on Twitter the other day.
All right, there you go. My other issue there in terms of the RB3 stuff, you saw it happen with Deuce Vaughn this year. RB3 almost always has to help on special teams. Is Zeke going to help on special teams? That's not his game. It's never been his game. And that's why you often see these older backs get phased out quickly. Because once they're not RB2s anymore, are you going to pay the slightly more expensive veteran or the young guy who helps you on special teams? That's the issue. CJ DeYoung III, who's Sam Williams? Seriously. As I throw my pen like an idiot. If you want to grab that for me. Day 2 defensive end of Ole Miss, who has found himself in off-the-field issues in both seasons of his career so far, has talent. Talented football player. If you don't figure out the off-the-field stuff, if he doesn't lock in, he's going to be in Zimmer's doghouse. It's not going to go well at all. Clayton, by the way, says, if you think Vaughn was the productive pick last year, it's a serious occasion to ask that draft was. That's my point. He wasn't very productive, but your backup tight end did nothing. Your third-round pick got hurt. 2 of the picks didn't even play, almost 3 of them. And Mozzie Smith was a no-show for half the games. Just like bad. Rajanik says, never heard of a bad vet minimum signing. I have said that before. This is pushing the limits on that. Part of the reason why there's those things a bad veteran minimum signing with no guaranteed money is because you can cut that player if they're not good. Who here has faith in the Cowboys choosing to cut Zeke if they were to sign him? That part of it is the likelihood of what this team would do with that guy. If they signed Jerick McKinnon, I bet they would cut him like they did with, Ronald Jones. Bring back Zeke, I don't think they're going to cut him. I didn't think they'd be almost scared of doing that. That's what concerns me. It's more than just unnamed player with that stat line signs. There's more angles involved there. Chris B, if they have another 2023 draft, we are screwed. Yes, because if you're not going to do anything in free agency, and you're going to say we draft well, we're a draft and develop team, we like our guys, and then you miss on 2 drafts, you really hurt yourself. That's not good. So, yeah, they have to crush this draft class. Because there's going to be we're just not going to spend. You can't afford to miss on 2 whole draft classes. Be a nightmare. Ecuador man AOG. Zeke has $6 million dead money. Veteran minimum, my ass. He's right, by the way. You are paying Zeke $6 million in dead money because that contract was bad for you. I will say this. For me, I actually don't care about the dead money aspect. You're paying him no matter what. It doesn't matter. It's the new money angle for me, which I still vote no in the pin poll on it, but the dead money aspect, whatever. All right, today's super chat menu is as follows. I guess maybe the second or third last call, since we'll do it at the end of today's show. $10 final entry for the signed Drew Pearson mini helmet. 2 for 1. So $10 gets you 2 entries into that one. The Beer Bong Hall of Fame, also still open. Until that's filled up, we'll keep doing it. $50 to do some beer bongs out of it. The extra goodies if you put in larger amounts in terms of voluntary super chats. Now, Instagram, we have launched the Cowboys Report Instagram page at Cowboys Report IG, getting closer to 1,000 subscribers. Hit that sub button over on Instagram, or I guess the follow button over on Instagram, at Cowboys Report IG. CJ DeYoung III, why do the Joneses keep chicken tenders on players injured off the field issued players? Simple, folks, that is who they are. They love to gamble. They love to think that they can fix everything. And it historically does not work out for them. But they get enamored with the talent. They always have. Oh, Charles Haley, Deion Sanders. They've always stepped up and tried to gamble on the character or the off the field drama guy. Greg Hardy. It tends to destroy them a little bit. Elmatic 7, Zeke's goal line play and great blocking are worth it. He's not even the same blocker he was in his prime. Like, genuinely, that has kind of dropped off a little bit. He's not great at it anymore. And, like, the goal line play, he was worse in the red zone and inside of 3 yards than Pollard and Dowdle were. And we can blame the offensive line for some of that, yes. Cowboys O-line wasn't a good run-blocking offensive line / the scheme was bad. I don't trust them. Zeke allowed more pressures and pass protection this year than most since 2019, which he had almost double the snaps in that season compared to this season. His pressure ratio was at an all-time low. All the numbers, all the eye tests that I use at least, and we can have different eye tests, that's totally fine. They say, this guy's not as good as he once was. That scares me. Chris B, if they pay Zeke more than the vet minimum, good Lord. The alleged claim that they thought he was good down the stretch is laughable. He was not good down the stretch. He had a couple splash plays against the Steelers. That was fun. He averaged under 3 yards a carry. Come on. Leroy Pearson Jr. Free agency-wise, any Will McClay specials that can be signed. Of all the rumors, which one is likely to be true, including Zeke and Cook? That's my other problem. What rumors? They got linked to Dillon, Zeke, and Dalvin Cook. A.J. Dillon. That's up. That is it. They haven't done anything. They haven't been calling people. They let agents call them. So whatever spots get unfilled in the draft, maybe they'll get some interest there. But they have been even more lackadaisical than in normal years in free agency. Gangsta Big Chungus. What's up, Tom? Been away since the Green Bay game. What's up? The Cowboys have done nothing. You missed one outside player signing. All this time. It's been like, what, 2.5 months? They signed one player. I hate it here sometimes, folks. We've got free Cowboys videos for you guys right here on the channel. So if you like the Cowboys, if you want to stay in the know with what's going on, hit that sub button on the Cowboys Report as we talk trades on today's show. I hate starting with this one, but it's where we're at. There's been speculation headlines of, maybe the Cowboys could trade away CeeDee Lamb based on Jerry Jones quotes. Let's go into the Jerry Jones quote, because remember, I'm fluent-ish in Jerry speak. That was a very Jerry line there, by the way, saying fluid. He's out there and he's more valuable than anybody else. But that valuable, to have to give up 4 or 5 players to have him, you have to get that reconciled. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a lot quicker and easier said than done. Whoever has CeeDee, and I hope it's us, they're going to use him. You have to. You have to get that kind of mileage out of him. What has he shown us? That he's capable of carrying that load. We've got to have focus. Now, I've seen those quotes framed as they're shopping Lamb, or could they trade Lamb? That's the logical conclusion. It's not how I view it at all, actually. I don't view those quotes as anything involving, well, maybe we get 4 or 5 players in a trade for CeeDee Lamb. What it is, and they've done this before with other players, they are firing up the excuse machine already. Oh, we got that insert player contract coming down the line. That is a classic Jones boys favorite. They love to do we can't afford this. We got the large contract 2 years down the line coming in. There's only so much pie to go around. That's what they're saying. They're saying paying CeeDee Lamb will cost them 4 or 5 players that they want to keep, which, not really the case at all. So, to be clear on this, trading CeeDee Lamb is stupid. That is probably the worst move the Cowboys could make this offseason. Ask the Tennessee Titans how that went for them. How do they feel about trading away A.J. Brown? Because they would pay him $25 million, by the way, which the market's now much higher. CeeDee Lamb's played 4 years so far in the NFL. He's gotten better every season. He has averaged over 1,000 yards every season of his career. His targets, catches, and touchdowns have gone up every single year. Now, that might very well end this year. This might not be the case where they do it for a 4th season in a row in his 5th year. But CeeDee Lamb is a superstar wide receiver. Even if you wanted to rebuild with a new young quarterback in 2 years, whatever, you know what you were doing if you were trading CeeDee Lamb? You would be desperately trying to find another wide receiver to be that number one guy because you don't have anyone near it on the roster. So they're not trying to trade Lamb. They're just trying to win the excuse machine battle. That's all they're doing. Now, I do believe in democracy. So I will allow you to vote yes on this one. I think you're crazy if you do it. Would you trade CeeDee Lamb? Y for yes, N for no. A draft trade idea coming to us from the latest CBS Sports mock draft. Olu Fashanu out of Penn State was the trade up target for CBS. Here's what Ryan Wilson wrote, citing Rick Spielman's thoughts on this as well. Huge trade from the Cowboys. Jerry Jones with 11 spots to the Raiders, pick number 13 overall. Select Tyron Smith's replacement. It's unknown what Dallas would have to pay to make this move. Rick Spielman loves the fit. They got the second best left tackle and the biggest needs on my offensive line, maybe on my football team, Spielman said about that potential idea. Now, I agree with Rick. It's a great idea, like the talent, the impact, fit, all works out well. This idea that it's unknown what Dallas would have to pay, we know what it costs. So CBS Sports, if you're watching, don't worry. I will do your job for you and tell you what the trade-up cost would be. But first, a word from today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. It's the best way to get in on the action on sports in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. March might be over, but the biggest moments in college basketball tip off in the month of April. Be a part of the action on Prize Picks for both men's and women's college basketball, plus the NBA postseason. Not that far away. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 fantasy sports app. You can also do season-long NFL Prize Picks. Patrick Mahomes, more than passing yards. Dak Prescott, more than passing yards. CeeDee Lamb, more than receiving scores. Micah Parsons, more than 12.75 sacks. The season-long numbers kind of factor in the injury downside. So you go with the more that to stay healthy, they'll almost certainly end up hitting it. So download the app today at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. It's Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Now, since CBS Sports had no idea what the trade would be, here's what it would actually be. To get to 13, this is almost an exact match on the updated version of the NFL trade chart, the one that NFL teams tend to use, a version of at least. They're always a little bit different. It's your first and your second round pick. That is what it would cost to go from 24 to 13. Now, I love Fashanu. I love the fit. Adding a player of that caliber, I think you've got potential all-pro duo on the left side of your line for the next 10-plus years in Fashanu and Tyler Smith. His numbers were awesome at Penn State. He's not a great run blocker. I think there's room for growth on that front. I think the knee that he coming off last year kind of hurt him a little bit this past season, but he allowed 10 hurries all year long. The athletic upside in terms of a pass protector is so good. So good. But I am so light on draft picks as is. I don't know how to manage this. If I have no first and no second, yes, I fixed left side of my offensive line. I've got running back. I'd love a receiver or corner. Probably not going to happen. Defensive line, linebacker. I've got one other pick in the top 175. Or 170. It's basically impossible for me to fill all of those other areas I want to fill. So do you want to trade up in the 2024 NFL Draft? T for trade up, P for pass, not the route you want to go. Sound off in the comments. Another trade name mentioned for Dallas, Bleacher Report saying they should try to trade for Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, the Bucks edge rusher, JTS as I tend to call him. This has some intrigue from my end, emphasis on that front. The trade idea is as follows. The Cowboys get the pass rusher, The Bucs get the 5th round pick. You're probably not going to find a year 1 impact of that caliber in the 5th round. And if he plays well, great, you get a comp pick. If he doesn't, well, it's a 5th round pick, so be it. Now, the issue here is that his production has not been very good. 4 sacks, 5 sacks for the former number 1 round pick. It just hasn't been very good. Here's the argument from Bleacher Report. Joe Tryon profiles an under-the-radar trade fodder, and final year of his rookie contract has been underwhelming since the Bucs took him with the 32nd pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. He has 13 sacks across his first 3 seasons, took a step back from year 2 to year 3 in his role on the Bucs defense. He only played 51% of the snaps in 2023 after playing over 70% in 2022. My problem here is this. Why would Tampa do this? He is still a starter for Tampa. They lost Shaq Barrett. Right now, it's Anthony Nelson and Yaya Diaby. So unless they spend a pick on a passer, in which case, okay, let's have a different conversation there. But if they don't add an edge rusher earlier, they're not going to trade him. It makes no sense for them. So I'm not going to get my hopes up here. I will say, unlike some of the ideas we kind of poo-poo, this is a good thought process. You need edge rush help. You might not find one in the 5th round. Trading a day 3 draft pick, a mid to late one, for an impact player, in theory, is normally a good idea. Now, you do that a bunch, well, you're having that player help you out. And edge is an area of concern. You got Micah, you got Tank. We shall see if Sam Williams and Junior Fayoko break out, but that's kind of unknown, right? If I told you you'd spend a 5th round pick on an edge, he got you 5 sacks, like, that's awesome. Seems a bit unlikely. So I do like that thought process idea there. So name a player you want to trade for. Drop that player or players if you're an overachiever in the comments section. Khalil Herbert, again, linked to Dallas. It's like the 3rd or 4th out, including ourselves here, and shout out to KU, who had the idea first in the comments, of trading for Khalil Herbert. We won't spend too much time on this. There was no specific trade package mentioned, but I think a 6th round pick that we mentioned previously makes a lot of sense. Herbert is probably going to be running back 3 on the Chicago Bears, and he has been a good runner. Not a great 3rd down piece, but in smaller sample sizes, he's always been pretty productive. For a rotational back with a draft pick potentially as well, it's a good running back room, or at least good enough. Dowdle, Herbert, insert your day 2, day 3 draft pick you want. Deuce Vaughn, Malik Davis, Lipke Connor, practice squad, and more options there. I do think adding a back has to happen during the draft in April. Could be via trade. They have to get more talent at the spot. Running backs don't matter, sure, whatever, but that's always they don't matter as much as other players. Still need somebody back there to handle the rock. Go ahead and put your best April Fool's Day jokes, Cowboys or not Cowboys related, in the comment section for me right now. We'll get to the super chats here too. Well, I guess we got the mailbag coming up, so we'll do that as part of the mailbag. Cowboys going all in is a very popular answer. I don't blame them. You guys are right. It's been a very frustrating and sad and disappointing offseason. Really has been. Cowboys will get Patrick Mahomes. Rowdy has been fed to the hogs. I wish that they would. It's a great idea. I have no love lost for Rowdy at all. Cowboys going to the UFL. I think it'd be fun to do like a UFL all-star game against a college all-star game. I think that'd be really fun. I think the college all-star team would win. But East-West, NFLPA Bowl, UFL players from last year. It's a fun idea. Marvin Harrison in the 7th. Micah Parsons flipped to the Eagles for a 5th. Cowboys bring back Emmitt Smith as RB1. Dak traded for Patrick Mahomes. Stephen Jones stepping away from football activities. Could you imagine? Let Charlotte run the team. All right, mailbag time. 2 ways to get on the show. Use hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat. Skip the line altogether. Gangsta Big Chungus. We will get to your Super Chat as part of the mailbag coming up here. As a reminder, the Super Chat menu breaks down like this. $10. You are entered not once but twice, it's 2-for-1 special, into the Drew Pearson mini helmet giveaway. That will be raffled off at the end of today's show. We'll run the duck race for it. It'll be fun. Beer Bong Hall of Fame is $50, and I do the beer bong out of it, by the way. So get the Super Chats in now for this mailbag. It's a mailbag here on the Cowboys Report, which means we answer your questions via Super Chats, live comments, and Super Thanks. From Wes, what about Christian Jones in the 3rd, and either Jalen Ford or Ryan Watts in the 5th? So that is the Texas right tackle, Texas linebacker, and Texas defensive back. I think Ford in the 5th, I'm very intrigued by. I think that's pretty good value. Christian Jones, I think the 3rd is about the right spot for him. My issue is I don't know if he can play left tackle. So do I want to spend a backup with my 3rd round pick? I'm not so sure on that front. Now, Wes and other comments come in here from Super Thanks. It's a feature on YouTube. You can do Super Chats on live shows. Super Thanks on demand. You are eligible for all of our extra giveaway stuff when you do Super Thanks as well. Click the thanks icon, edit your message, and we'll give you a shout out on the show. From Tyler Madden, anyone else want to wait a couple of years for Arch Manning? First off, he's not the only one who's going to this way. I know that for a fact. Here's my concern. Do you want to wait, 2 years, 3 years maybe, whatever, for a guy that's thrown or completed 2 passes? I get it's Manning, and that's intriguing, but we actually have zero evidence that he's good. We have no idea. I have seen great high school quarterbacks come and go. You guys remember Brock Berlin? Remember Jimmy Clausen? All those hyped names. I need to see him actually be good before I get there. Now, if you want to tank and prep for a top pick, sure, but I'm not going to lock myself into one guy this early. From Corruption, a.k.a. Afton, if I was an owner of the Dallas Cowboys, I would have sent Dak Prescott packing along with McCarthy right after the wild card round last year. If the Jones family extend Dak, which I doubt it, then trade him. What's the point of keeping a decent overall quarterback when you're not going to extend his bloody contract? I'm sick and tired of losing the wild card around the divisional round. In my opinion, send Dak to the Bears for a first overall pick and take Caleb Williams. My issue here is you're not making a decision, right? And he's saying the exact same thing. Either extend him and go for it, or rebuild. This middle ground is dumb. It does nothing for me. Pick a path. Now, you're not trading for Caleb Williams and the Bears. The Bears, that number 1 overall pick, there's too much value there. It's kind of like, there's value in knowing what you're getting for Christmas, but come Christmas morning, you want to open up the present. You don't get that value if they give you the present on December 21st. It's just not the same boost to your franchise that team needs, frankly. From Bryce, I'm too poor to go to a Cowboys game, but if I were there, I'd run a group of disgruntled fans and boo the owner and his sidekick the whole game. We're mad at ownership. Also from Rob, thanks. Who'd have thought the Cowboys would do worse in the offseason than they were in the playoffs? We are once again mad at ownership. And I don't blame anybody. They have not been that far away. And their decision is to just kind of let themselves get a little bit worse. I hate it. So you can be honest here. I know what the votes are going to be. Grade the Cowboys off season. A, B, C, D, or F. Go ahead and sound off for me in the comments section. The pinned comment of today's show. Gangsta Big Chungus. Dak to the Hawks for Walker III without a trade clause. To be quite honest, I hate the idea of trading a top 10 quarterback for a maybe top 10 running back. That's all I'm getting? That's it? Seattle says, yeah, where do I sign? You want Geno too? Want Sam Howell in there? By the way, I do think Seattle's a very possible destination next year for Dak. It wouldn't shock me. For Mark, Brother Tom, what solid players do you think will be released after June 1st to us to nab? We have no money. Jerry Jones is GM of the year. I don't think anybody. At least not many. Like, maybe a team drafts somebody and then they cut somebody else. But the June 1st designation can and has been used on players already. And those guys can sign whenever. You know, if the Cowboys think they're going to get a sudden influx of free agent talent after June 1st, they're going to be disappointed. From Carter, will the Cowboys trade down for 2025 picks? You know, I wouldn't be overly shocked if they traded down. I don't think they will necessarily move down for 2025 selections. Now, if they do that, it's the most obvious sign they are punting and rebuilding, even if they're doing a pretty bad job of it in the process. I don't think they're going to do that. I think a trade down to get that 4th-round pick back and a 3rd-round pick, that I could see happening. So do you want the Cowboys to trade down? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off in the comments section. $5 from Mark. ESPN reports Oprah, Lizzo, and Joy Bear are starting for tackles. JJ and Steven as dual GMs of the year. Randy White will also partake in the defensive tackle position. Okay, but hear me out on Randy White. Just hear me out on it. Kidding, of course. Steven GX, 3 things with the draft sims. Number 1, Jackson Powers Johnson is table at 24. 2, a smart trade downs. Get 4 to 7 top 100 picks. We could fill needed positions in depth and in the draft. So I will say, be careful with the draft sims. Sometimes their trade packages just get out of control. And I think the draft sims, a lot of the coding has been, well, we'll increase the general range on the trade offers when there's not as big of a range. I do think JPJ could be there at 24. He might not be a Cowboy anyway. Medical concerns on Jackson Powers Johnson, hip issues being whispered and rumored about there. So got to vet the medical. But you can get more. You can get a 4th top 100 pick. That's absolutely doable. And maybe even 5, depending on how you do trade down. Chris B, I keep hearing about the 2025 Cup and how they will be strapped. Means they're offseason doing absolutely nothing again. This franchise sucks over it. Here's the thing. They're not even capped. You know, when it's all they'll have about $100 million in cap space. Seriously, they're going to have that much money. Like when they get to week 1, they're going to be just like $97 million in cap space. They're going to be fine. They have a bunch of dead money, sure. That doesn't matter when they're paying nobody. They have no big contracts in the books. It's Trayvon Diggs. That's basically it. That's it. And yeah, you want to pay Lamb and Dak and Micah, allegedly Dak and Micah. Okay. You've moved off of your big contracts already. Like, they are using that as an excuse. And frankly, I would say lie. They're not being honest about their 2025 cap. They're fine. They're in good shape. They have the 3rd most players under contract. I know that is what the team is saying, that they are anxious about the 2025 salary cap space, that, oh man, we're going to be in trouble. Like, oh, we're very, very nervous about it. Why? They are currently, and this number will change, they are projected in this, I'm looking at, let me do over the cap. Over the cap to have some better numbers than SpoTrack, whatever. So excuse me as I scramble and pull it up here. You're looking at, for 2025, they are currently 6th most salary cap space. $100 million. And by the way, they've got top 10 most players under contract. They're in good shape. Like, yeah, they got a bunch of dead money, and that number might rise, and probably will rise, but like they're not hurting. Like, they're fine. They are lying about it. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute tickets, all-in prices, kill last-minute deals, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee. Simply put, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Go to GameTime.co. Use promo code ChatSports to get $20 off your first ticket. That can be used on a concert, can be used on MLB games. For example, by the way, when you're looking for tickets, keep an eye on the zone deals. Zone deals, I think, are the best thing game time offers beyond being able to sit in your seat and move around like a cool live photo. You pick the section. Game Time picks the seats for big time savings in the process, plus $20 off to use on maybe a cheaper Rangers game that's not as expensive as opening day was. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but create your account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today for last-minute tickets at the lowest price, all guaranteed. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. $5 from Mark. College UB 2 ACLs was a top 5 pick. Looked good in this testing. We dropped him 24th there. I'm 95% sure you mean Michael Penix out of Washington. Couple notes here. He did look good in his testing. You might have seen 4.46. He didn't run 4.46. He didn't. Ran a good time. Was better than people thought it was going to be. It wasn't like 4.7 or 4.8. The 4.46 number was not right. It was not what he actually ran. The scouts to hand times were. The scouts time was off on that one because it was I know the guy. He should not be trying to hand time. We did not prepare for that. Did have 2 torn ACLs. Was never a top 5 pick though. He had a great year for Washington. I have a second late-ish round grade on him. I think as a pure passer, Penix is probably one of the best quarterback draft prospects. However, he didn't run in college. He tested well. He was never a mobile quarterback, and he tends to struggle under some pressure and move off of his spot. Like when the first guy's not there, he's got to avoid rushes, he's not very good. The overall mobility and pocket presence worries me. And I think in the modern NFL, you need to have that. So between the injuries and that, I'm not taking him in round 1. Plus, there's this part too. That's not your guy. You will have a new head coach next year. Maybe you don't want to tie the quarterback to that new head coach and force that path as well. For Marvin, would the Cowboys go receiver in round 1? There is a scenario where the best player on the Cowboys board is a wide receiver. But it's a question of, can they afford that luxury? Can they afford to say, you know what, we're going to do it. We're going to take the best player, even though he's not going to be as impactful in year 1. I don't know. All things being equal, what position would you like the Dallas Cowboys to draft in round 1? Sound off for me in the comments section right now. From Tony, keep up the good work, Tom. Go Cowboys. I appreciate that, Tony. Thank you very much. From Food Review, what would be the Nakobe Dean level slide that Dallas or any team with their 3rd rounder can get? That's a good question. The issue you tend to run into here is those guys tend to slide because of injury concerns. Sometimes injury concerns we did not even know about. Nakobe Dean, Darnell Washington. So, maybe somebody's medicals pop up like that and it causes them to slide down. Kool-Aid McKinstry had the foot stuff. I love him as a prospect, but the foot stuff has to be verified with the Jones fracture. Peyton Wilson stands out to me. Now, we know about his medical. Double-digit surgeries, pre-draft visit for Dallas, by the way, but I think is the most talented linebacker in this year's class. Do you trust the medicals? So, honestly, Food Review, come back to me after the top 40 picks, and I'll have a great answer for you on that. We got free Cowboys videos every single day right here on the channel. Sound off, or make sure you're subbed so you can sound off in the future. Chris B., my fear is they reach for an offensive tackle in round 1, the Yale kid. I'll probably jump if they do that. All in with my toaster in the bathtub. That is Karan. Let me make sure I get the pronunciation here. Karan Amagaji. I think that's how it's pronounced. I have a 3rd round grade on him. So I don't see 1st round profile at all. Finally, from Tyler, if Dallas were to draft a wide receiver, would you want a smaller, speedy slot or a bigger body outside? Can you give me realistic options? Marcus Rosemy saying Jackson Saint, that's the Georgia kid. Bub Means from Pitt, Jalen Coker. It's good names. If looking for kind of a later round wide receiver, which is kind of what you're mentioning there, I'm open to either. I find the big fast guy always good, which I kind of fits Bub Means' profile a little bit. Big fast guy, I think could be there on day 3. Jalen Coker tested pretty decently. Does in a good receiver class, does a Jamari Thrash somehow Javon Baker get to you at the back end of the 3rd round, or maybe Baker makes more sense there? I would like I'd like some speed. How about this? My answer is both, but speed. I don't want a big slow guy on the outside. That I've had those guys. I'm good. I have those guys even. Give me a fast guy, small or big. The Super Chat menu sits like this. $10, Drew Pearson mini helmet entry. And if you do what CJ DeYoung III just did, it's a beer bong. Let's ride. Do a bong. Put me in the raffle. Why don't you and Mitch do it for regular chat sports anymore? Simple, really. The team channels are too popular. Mitch is very busy with Raiders. I am very busy with Cowboys. We haven't done a ton of two-man stuff on NFL, and when we are doing two-man stuff, it's normally in events in which both those channels are already live. So it doesn't quite balance enough. So Mitch is still my guy, but we're busy, We used to do NFL trade deadline stuff, together, but we're live on Cowboys, the NFL trade deadline. Mitch is live on Raiders, so it doesn't quite work out as well. All right, back to CJ DeYoung, $50. Oh, we got that one. So let's hit some other ones here while I pour this. Gangsta Big Chungus, need to win that helmet to go with my Mozzie one. You are in the raffle. So too is CJ DeYoung III. And then Noah Turner, a $2 one. What do you mean by the Oregon offense was fake? First off, hilarious. I think this is speech to text. Oregon, literally. What I mean by that is it's not translatable to the NFL. Now, it is I said the same with Hendon Hooker's Tennessee offense. I call that a Mickey Mouse offense. The Tennessee offense was short stuff and go bombs. That's all they call. Screen, slant, bubble, quick out, bomb, 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 bomb. And it works because it's a good offense. It's not translatable to the NFL. The Oregon offense, that ball is out unbelievably quick. Like he's not dropping back and doing reads. He's sometimes not even doing like half field reads. It's like first guy, boom, it's open. Let me get my exact numbers here. They did throw some deep balls. He was pretty good in that area, by the way. So his average depth of target was 6.8 yards. Now that's decent. That's like below average for the NFL, and it's bottom 5 in college football. They're not pushing the ball downfield very much. 9th fastest time to throw in college football. Now, processing, sure, but it's not like he's having to do a lot of stuff before that there. The passing yardage is great, right? He's got 4,500 yards. He had 900 yards on screen passes. He threw 131 screens. That's insane. Like, we have justifiable concerns about J.J. McCarthy. He had under 3,000 yards total. So to put this in perspective again here, McCarthy didn't do a lot downfield either. He didn't have a ton of those successes. Despite completing 120 more passes on almost 140 more attempts, Bo Nix had 7 more completions beyond 10 yards. That's it. We're talking a massive difference. So there are things to like about Bo Nix. Don't get me wrong. He's so much better than he ever was at Auburn. And I give him a lot of credit for that. But, I think the thing that pops out the most is that production, right? How good he was. Well, how much does that production matter when it's kind of inflated and not the most realistic? That's my issue there. CJ DeYoung, everyone spam CJ in the comments. Good for you guys. I'm doing along with you. Bottoms up. Woo! The cold hurts sometimes. The cold hurts. I do think Bo Nix is going to be a really good backup, though. I think he's going to be a really good backup quarterback. Because he's athletic, arm is decent, and can be pretty accurate. But I just worry about the higher level stuff in the end. Woo! All right. We'll get set up here. Let me close out of some stuff so I don't have excess tabs from that perspective. But what is your guys' confidence level in the Dallas Cowboys drafting right now? 1 to 10 is your scale. How do you feel about that one? 1 to 10. As your votes come in, another super chat here. Crispy, odds for next year's head coach feel like it's a wash this year. I don't know. Let's see how the year plays out. Like, I don't even. You know what the scary, dark reality is? This job is not going to be appealing if they don't bring back Dak. It's not going to be. You want to work with Jerry? You have no quarterback for your first year, banking on Trey Lance, late round 1 pick on it. That's not a fun spot to be. I don't think this job is going to be very, very appealing. Now, if they have Dak, I know some of us are mad at him, but tell you what, guys, teams like him. Coaches like him a lot. I think he's very, very, very good. That's how it goes. If you haven't already, please check out the Cowboys Report on Instagram at Cowboys Report IG. We'll have shorter form videos up on that platform there at Cowboys Report IG. Go ahead and check it out. The short stuff gets posted there, some photos as well. So follow that page if you haven't already. Today's Cowboys Report is made possible by Manscaped. April is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, and our friends at Manscaped have partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to help spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection. We'll tell you all about that and them later on in today's show as we run through some NFL draft trade ideas for the Cowboys. Now, Dallas has picks this year. They've got their 7, but only 3 of them in the top 170. They can still be active up or down if they so choose. But good old Trader Jerry hasn't always been the same guy in recent years. So we're going to put together a bunch of different trade ideas. Now, specifically for the picks, the trades are either exact or almost exact matches for what the trade value trust is. Not the outdated Jimmy ones, some of the more updated ones that tend to match better with the current trade value in the NFL. You might not like the value, that's fine, but they are very realistic ideas. So will the Cowboys make a draft trade? 1 for yes, they're going to do at least one of them. 0 for no. They're not going to get that done. Sound off in the comments section. First up is trading up early into round 1. And the pretty much perfect value here to get in the top 15 is to package your first and second round picks to move up. Now, you would be targeting somebody very, very good. Some names to monitor, that, or maybe there's even a surprise faller beyond these guys, but you want the left tackle, Olu Fashanu. Maybe you want the best defensive player on your board, Dallas Turner, Terran Arnold, whatever. Maybe Rome Odunze slides. I'd be kind of shocked, but still. Troy Fautanu. Maybe you don't think he's going to get past Seattle at 16. Though you would be making a big, big splash move to go up and get a stud player, but it would cost you your second-round pick. Now, to trade up and not give up your second-round pick, give up your third-round pick, gets you to about pick 19. Not quite 1-to-1. You get a sixth-round pick back to make it a little bit more even. What you would be doing here is jumping teams like the Steelers and Dolphins, teams that you think might snipe you for probably an offensive lineman in particular. J.C. Latham, Amarius Mims, Graham Barton, maybe Jackson Powers Johnson Medical does check out and you want to go get him in the process. Maybe it's a corner. Maybe it's that wide receiver, Brian Thomas, who this team likes quite a bit. That's, again, a fairly expensive move up. The guy who maybe still gets to you at pick number 24. Then again, they've missed on their guys before in past drafts. So what would you rather do if you had to pick one in round one? U for you want to trade up, or D for you want to trade down? It is today's pinned comment, so if the ad comes on YouTube, take advantage and go vote. Trading down can get you what you are lacking, another top 100 pick. The best even value, because the trade parameters don't always align 1-to-1, Cowboys get the 30th overall pick from the Ravens and their third-round pick. So 30 and 93 to move down from 24. And what you're hoping is one of your guys still gets to you. Worst case, maybe you reach, quote unquote, on Zach Frazier, and you recreate the Travis Frederick scenario all over again. Maybe you try Jordan Morgan at left tackle or left guard. You brought in Nate Wiggins for a predicament. Maybe his size drops him. Chop Robinson could be there maybe. Tyler Guyton. I'd feel better about getting Guyton in the trade down, but several teams behind you need offensive line help. You might not be able to wait and still get that offensive lineman. This is part of the conversation. You'd have to have several guys you are open to getting, because you do run the risk of getting none of them. Now, today's show is made possible by Manscaped. It is National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. So to help spread awareness for men's health and early detection, visit manscaped.com/TCS and check out the Learn How to Check Yourself video for early signs of cancer. You can also use promo code Cowboys once you're over there for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with that promo code Cowboys. You can get the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads. It is the best in men's grooming technology. In addition to providing the right tools and solutions for comfortable and easy grooming, Manscaped is committed to raising awareness and support for fighters, survivors, and families impacted by testicular cancer. That's why they're donating $50,000 to the Testicular Cancer Society. Help save lives and balls by going over to manscaped.com/TCS and sharing their funny and educational Check Yourself video. While you're at it, you can get that 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with promo code Cowboys. Like a famous American philosopher once said, take care of your mentals, your balls, and your chickens. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Back to trade ideas here for the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe you want to move out of round one altogether to get a bigger asset back. The most logical fit, your good buddy Dan Quinn over in Washington. You trade out of round one for the Commanders' second and third round pick. So that is a significant move down. Moving down a lot. You get another top 70 pick, though, in the process. Now, different batch of names. Maybe some previous names are there. Other names. Jesus Mataya. I actually love Johnny Newton. Seems like the NFL's lower on him. I don't get it. I think he's a stud. Medical for Kool-Aid McKinstry. Maybe one of Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman is there. The downside of moving down that far, though, is you might miss the back of that run of the true, top 30-ish overall offensive lineman. So when it comes to trading up or trading down in round one or later, name a player who you would like to trade for. Drop that player or player's name in the comments section. Another idea is you could trade up in round two. Now, what's funny here is you can move up 15 spots to the Packers pick and give up your third-round pick in the process. Again, you're very light on draft capital there. The only way this would work for me is if you have a true first-round grade, top 15 player on your board, and he's sliding. You kind of did that to an extent, not quite the top 15 player angle, with Tank Lawrence years ago. But it would cost you your second and your third to get that other almost top 40 pick. If you didn't want to move your third, the best I can do to move up, and only giving up one pick in the process, is this idea with the Rams. Up 4 spots in exchange for your 5th round pick. You are very light on draft capital. If you had 3 5th rounders, sure, that's fine. But I am of the belief this team needs more picks, not necessarily less picks. Now, there is a way to recoup a 4th round pick that you're missing by trading down in round 2. Again, fits the trade value chart here. Cowboys slide down, handful of spots with San Francisco, which might bother you a little bit. You get one of their 4th round picks. And maybe they push hard for it being the later one. It's fine, whatever. They're pretty similar, being a couple picks apart there. You get that 4th round pick back that you don't have. And in theory, only moving down 9 spots, or 7 spots, hashtag math, you should still be able to get the guy or one of the guys you have your eyes on. Now, we will be live for the 2024 NFL Draft. So do not miss out. Hit that sub button right now here on the Cowboys Report. The other plan to get extra picks is you could trade away players. I'm not going to bother with trading down the 3rd round and giving up a future pick. Future picks value is 1 round less. Do you want a 5th round pick? Trade your 4th next season. Always work out, but that's kind of expensive. Some players that could fetch you some draft value, specifically on defense, because I don't think anyone wants Cooper Rush, by the way. Sam Williams. Now, I think you want to give him time under Mike Zimmer. I think Zimmer is going to make or break Sam Williams. Hopefully makes him, because Zim will not put up with his BS. Other trade candidates here. Junior Feoko. Is he a Dan Quinn guy, or is he one of your guys? He didn't play at all in year 1, and Dan Quinn was hyped about him. Which, by the way, I think you let Dan Quinn have too much influence on your draft classes overall. His guys haven't always panned out that well. Let your scouts do their jobs. Chauncey Golston, defensive tackle. You don't have any bodies, but so maybe you need him. But, if you love a different defensive tackle on the 5th round, would a team take a 5th for Chauncey? I might be pushing it there. Dark horse name is Damone Clark, by the way. Maybe you want to move on there. He played a lot last year, might actually have some value. Nashawn Wright could also be an option here, but I think Eric Scott makes even more sense. That was, again, a pretty heavy Dan Quinn pick. Maybe you get back that 6th round pick you spent, or the 5th round pick you get to get him in the process, whatever, to land a different player, a different position potentially. So probably a bit unlikely, but I did want to make note of a couple names that with the new defensive staff in, maybe you see some changes with. The yeses seem like they're going to win here, producer Chris. Nearly 1,000 votes, or 900 votes, I guess. 51% say yes to bring back Zeke Elliott. I believe in democracy, and I will keep it at that. Not the route I would go. We will do the duck race here for the signed Drew Pearson mini helmet. So I'll put 1 to 2 minutes here on the clock. Allow Chris time to get the names moved over. Every $10 super that comes in right now will count for 2 entries. But it is the last call, because I don't want someone putting in a $10 super chat at the end of the race, and then it's kind of a disaster. So last call, please don't delay. Get your $10 super chats in to be entered to win the Drew Pearson mini helmet. How many entries do we have there, producer Chris, once you get it plugged in? Should be over, I think it's over 100. So 128, oh boy, on the entries. That's going to make for a fun duck race here. 15 seconds left, so last call on that front. We will run the race. I will have the winner get their information over to me. Or maybe I have it already. Who knows? Sometimes it's some... every now and then there's a repeat winner. I know Gangsta Big Chunkus wants to win again today. We will run this duck race here momentarily. The winner will get the signed Drew Pearson mini helmet. I will get that shipped out to you guys probably end of the week. Would be my guess on the timing there, since I got family responsibilities and stuff. All right, so Chris, you ready to go? All right, duck race coming up here momentarily to determine who wins the signed Drew Pearson mini helmet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's race. We are underway here. The most excitement the entire Cowboys fan base has seen in free agency. Spot the lie. Not wrong about it. Jimmy Productions, Ollie to Booger. Get it? Taking some leads. Daniel Bustos at the top in a Dr. Duck. I guess I'll call it, because he has the doctor hat and the doctor's mask, too. Dwayne Jackson, the purple duck. Anthony McMillan in the spiked hair duck. We got 20 seconds left here. Dwayne Jackson and Daniel, bunch of pulled hammies. Down goes Daniel, down goes Dwayne. One of the Dwayne Jackson ducks still in first place. Now some late runs. It's another Dwayne Jackson duck. It's multiple Dwayne Jackson ducks. Dwayne Jackson's in first, in second, and in third, and fourth. I've never seen it before. He took home the entire podium. What? I will say, Dwayne had a bunch of ducks in the race from various hundreds he's put in. Dwayne Jackson comes out on top. He had the entire podium. He had first, second, and third. All right, Dwayne, I think I have his email, but if not, Dwayne, email me, tom@chatsports.com. Yeah, Dwayne had put in a bunch. There's a bunch of Dwayne Jacksons on that beer bong from this year. Wow, what a time to be alive. Appreciate that, Dwayne. Email me, tom@chatsports.com. Make sure you guys are subscribed as well for more free Cowboys YouTube videos. Hit that sub button. More videos on demand throughout the week. Live again on Thursday. We'll see you guys then.